Okay, 1 second here. Let me move some stuff around. All right. I think that's as big as I can make my little screen here. Okay, so welcome. This is basic Spanish grammar lesson 4, as you could see up top. Um, I don't know if I want to make this a little bigger. Let's go 125 and see how that works. Okay, as long as I'm just talking about the bullet points, it's fine for now. So lesson number 4, again, these lessons are cumulative, stacking on top of each other, meaning I expect for you to have learned what we learned in lessons 1, 2, and 3, because I'm going to use a lot of that vocabulary. I try to stay away from the verbs, the conjugations of 1, 2, and 3, although I might use it once in a while, because I mainly want to focus here today. As you can see, the first one is the ser verb. The ser verb in Spanish is the to be verb. Um, and as I said already, we have two to be verbs, two. One is ser, that's the infinitive, to be, and the other one is estar, which is also to be in the infinitive. And so, yeah, if you're an English speaker, we only have one be verb, which is to be, right? I am, you are, he is. But in Spanish, we have two versions depending on what you're saying, depending on what you're saying. So if you say he is, for example, he is a lawyer, then you will use ser, right? But if you say something like he is here, then you will use estar. So today we're not going to go into the estar. We're just going to go into ser because it's one of the most I think it's one of the most like what do you call it? It's just a problem for Spanish learners. Like it's a little bit of a hurdle, a little bit of a bump to get over. So we're going to just focus on ser, and we're going to focus on the main uses of ser. We're not going to focus on all the uses because again, this is basic Spanish grammar. I want to give you the grammar that allows you to say like the most common things that you would probably want to say. Okay, so it's not supposed to be exhaustive. Uh, okay, so then we're going to do a new sentence pattern: subject, verb, the verb to be, and then an adjective or a noun. And then we might have a modifier before the noun, like uh, like like my brother or a table or yeah, so some kind of modifier before the noun. We're going to learn the demonstrative pronoun. This is a demonstrative pronoun slash adjective because it can be both. Está, este and esta, which is this, It means this. Okay, we're going to do that. Singular, only singular. We're not going to do plural. Then we're going to do the possessive adjectives: my, your, his, our, their, or yours, there. Right? We're going to do that. We're going to do handy vocabulary. This one's really short because I'm giving you so much grammar, and we already have a bunch of vocabulary. I'm only adding a few, like maybe like 7 or 8 words today. Um, and as we progress, we're only going to add like a few. The vocabulary is never going to exceed more than 10 words because this is basically to focus on the grammar. And as we accumulate more and more vocabulary, we're not going to need so much to do what we need to do. Okay, and then translation practice. As always, this is the final. This is the point of this whole thing, is for you to be able to translate these Spanish sentences into English. Again, we're going from Spanish to English. This is the easy direction. Later, maybe, I don't know, maybe not. We're going to go from English to Spanish, but I think this is basic. We'll stick to Spanish to English because it's already hard enough learning a new language. A spittle flies out of my mouth. Okay, now we're going to cover the new sentence pattern with the conjugation of ser. So I need to make the screen smaller to hopefully fit it all in. That's what she said. Wow, starting off really bad here. Okay, here we go. I want you to notice one thing. This time, I did not put the subject pronoun in parentheses because when we use the said verb, it's very common to state it, right? With other sentences, like if I say I speak Spanish, I would just say hablo español. I wouldn't say yo hablo. I would just say hablo. But for the verbs with ser, you can leave it out. It's not like you can't. It's not like we don't. But it's also very common to state it. So here we're stating it. And plus, when we practice, we're stating it because we want to get used to the pronoun associated with its corresponding conjugated verb here. So here we go. Here we go. So again, ser is very irregular. Ser is probably the most irregular verb we have for the present tense. So you're just gonna have to kind of like brute memorize ser in a sense, because I don't really have any mnemonics for you or any mnemonics. I keep saying mnemonics like pneumatic tools. Pneumatic tools, mnemonics. Okay. Yo soy americano. If you're American and you're a male, you would say yo soy americano. I am American. If you're female, yo soy americana, right? That's the same thing. The gender for Spanish, if it's an O, it's masculine almost always. And if it's female, it's with an A almost always, right? But that's generally the nouns and the adjectives are going to like, yeah, you're going to change the endings that way to correspond to the gender. And here, it obviously corresponds to yo. So whoever's speaking. So if you're speaking, you're a guy or a dude or a male or right, then yo soy americano. Yo soy americano. And then if now tú tú eres guapa. Guapa is, and this is part of the vocabulary, so you're gonna see it again. Guapa is like good looking. If it's it could be guapo for a guy. If you're a guy and I say tú eres guapo, then I'm saying you're good looking or you're handsome. If I say to a woman, tú eres guapa, then I'm saying you're good looking or you're like beautiful, right? Or you're pretty. Okay, so tú eres. Yeah, it's very regular. It starts with an E and it doesn't, right? Okay. Ella es una madre. Una madre. Madre is mother, right? Mamá is like mom and madre is mother. Papá is like dad and padre is father, right? Okay. Anyway, so ella es una madre. It's very common to throw in the article una. We covered articles, una. But you can't say ella es madre. Kind of like the way we do for it's like the distinction between saying, like, let's say you had lunch and you say, what I ask you, what did you eat for lunch? Or what did you have for lunch? You say, I had chicken. I had chicken. Not I had a chicken, right? If you say you had a chicken, that's a whole chicken. But if you say I had chicken, this is the kind of food you had. But we also use a chicken. We have chicken and a chicken. Okay, so ella es madre is like she is a mother. She is this kind of thing. But we also throw in the una. Ella es una mother. She is a mother in that sense. So both are used. Both are common. I'm very used to using the una when I say, if I say she's a mother, I will say ella es una madre. But it's not wrong, and I think it's very also very proper to say ella es madre. Okay, but I'm teaching you with una madre because it's the colloquial that I know. And so it's colloquial. It's colloquial. It's like common, spoken Spanish. Okay. Nosotros somos. Now again, remember we have the hablamos, comemos, vivimos. This one just happens to have an O. Nosotros somos. But it's weird that it has an O, right? Especially because ser is an ER verb, but it conjugates, yeah, okay, in a funny way. So you just have to learn it. Nosotros somos dentistas. I'm hoping you figure out dentistas means dentists. Nosotros somos dentistas. Ustedes son, again, the vowel and the N ending, right? Ellos hablan, A-N. Ellos comen, E-N. Ellos viven, E-N. And ustedes, or ellos son, O-N. And the same with ustedes. Ustedes matches the ellos, ella, so son. Ustedes son inteligente. Inteligente. Inteligente is obviously intelligent. And again, the adjective that ends with an E We don't have to do anything to it to match the noun, right? For it to agree to the noun, whether it's masculine or feminine, we don't have to do anything. We don't, it doesn't change, right? It's not like guapo. Guapo has to be O for males and guapa for females, and plural for many males, guapos, and plural for many females, which could be just two, guapas. But ustedes son inteligente is just intelligent for singular and plural and for masculine or feminine. So it's just a one. It doesn't have any variance, right? It's just inteligente always, which is beautiful. I wish the whole language were like that, right? Okay, so inteligente. Ellas son mis amigas. Mis is the possessive adjective. A lot of people call this pronouns. I don't know why people do that. I see it in textbooks. It's not it's not a pronoun. Why is it not a pronoun? Because it's modifying a noun. What do adjectives do? Modify nouns, right? So if it's something that's modifying a noun, it is an adjective. It's not just that adjectives do that. It's like only adjectives do that. So if something is doing that, modifying a noun, amigas, it's an adjective. Okay, I take that back. No, I don't take that back. It's correct. Right. I was going to say articles are an exception, but articles are adjectives. So technically, articles are adjectives, so it's fine. Okay, so mis amigas, right? My friends. And ellas, it's ellas, can't be ellos because amigas is feminine. So I'm saying something about a bunch of women, which means two or more, right? Ellas son mis amigas. Ellas son mis amigas. Usted, by the way, the usted, I think I haven't been putting the accent mark over the ed or over the e, which is usted. It's not usted, so it's usted. So I think I've been leaving it out, but it belongs. It belongs. So it's usted, which is I take out the brackets because once again, this is common to use. Es muy amable. There's another e adjective. This is one of the vocabulary words, so don't worry, you're going to see it again. Dentistas, you're not going to see it again because I expect for you to know it when you hear it. Not memorize it, not like what's dentist in Spanish and you pull dentistas out of somewhere, right? And then, but amable is going to be a vocabulary word that you're going to know and learn later. So amable is friendly or kind, right? And we'll talk about the etymology, but as you can see, it has the word ama in it, which means kind of love. Not kind of love, but it's the root of love. So we'll talk about that more when we get to the vocabulary. Okay, so yo soy, tú eres, ella es, nosotros somos, ustedes son, ellas son, usted es. That's the conjugation of ser in the present tense. Okay. Now let's continue. Oh, by the way, here, muy amable. Muy is an adverb. Remember, English adverbs modify adjectives, right? Very beautiful. Very is an adverb, modifies the adjective beautiful. A very beautiful woman. A very beautiful woman. Woman is the noun. Beautiful is the adjective. Very is the adverb modifying beautiful, not the woman. She's not a very woman. That makes no sense, right? She's a very beautiful. And a is also an adjective modifying woman. It's an article, but it's a type of adjective. So, okay, so muy, that's why I put up here. You can have an adverb here before the adjective or the noun, or before the noun here at least. Or actually before the adjective. Or you can have an article because it's an adjective. Or you could have a possessive adjective, right? So, or any, like, yeah, okay, so next. Okay, common uses of ser. Like we're gonna kind of like, yeah, we're gonna go a little bit into ser because it is like one of the biggest obstacles to, what's up with these metaphors, to hurdle was you're learning Spanish. Okay, one use of ser is to state identity, right? To say what or who someone or something is. That's not the best stated way to say, but okay, so what something is, like defining identity, identifying something. Yo soy un abogado. I put them in blue because it's a reminder for me to explain it because it's not part of the vocabulary, which might be new to some of you, and some of you might not be able to figure it out. Yo soy, I am, un abogado. I can't say yo soy abogado. That's very common, very acceptable. But I I've always thrown in the un or una to say these kinds of things. It's not wrong. So it might not be the most like common usage, but it's not like uncommon. So I'm teaching you how I speak. It's going to serve you well. Yo soy un abogado. Abogado, if you're from England, you probably recognize this as an advocate. An advocate. And if you speak Russian, it's advocat, right? Advocat is a lawyer, is a lawyer. Abogado is a lawyer. Advocat, advocate, advocate. So that's the cognate. Okay. Ella es una profesora. She is a teacher. She is a teacher. Okay. Wow. I don't know where that yawn came from, but it's good. Okay, characteristics. Second uses of ser. Defining characteristics. Defining, kind of like essential or very important to that thing, right? So, él es violento. Él es violento. He is violent, right? Violento is violent. Él es violento. He's a violent dude. He's a violent dude. That's an important quality for if somebody's a violent dude. You kind of want to like that's like significant. Like if you imagine, like you're telling your friend you want to go on a date with my friend. Can you describe some important qualities? He's violent. Like what the hell? Who you setting me up with, idiot? Like anyway. So él es violento. Nosotros somos católicos. 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 I put in blue, but I feel like you guys could figure this out. Catholics. We are Catholics. And if you're in a Spanish speaking country, most likely you're going to hear, if you talk about these things, that mostly they're Catholics, right? Nosotros somos católicos. Católicos. Okay. And as you'll notice, Spanish adjectives like don't tend to be capitalized. Like if this was Catholics in English, this would be capitalized. Okay. Origin. Where something is from. Where something is from. Or where someone is from, obviously. Okay. Yo soy de Perú. Yo soy de Perú. I am from Peru. Tu carro. This is a sorry, this should not have a accent. This is a possessive adjective too. We're going to talk about that soon, so don't worry. Tu carro, your car. Carro is car, like it has the word car in it. Carro is car. Carro, tu carro es de Japón. De, oh, by the way, I didn't explain de when I even though I put it in blue, means from. It also means other things, but most likely from. It also means of, like possessive, right? This is yeah. So of, possessive. It also means during, right? It also means during, and it also means about. But for our purposes today, I think it's almost always going to be from. So just remember, like, okay, but it's part of the vocabulary, and we'll get more. You'll see more of it. Okay, tu carro es de Japón. Your car is from Japan. Maybe it's a Toyota or Toyota. Okay, tu carro es de Japón. Occupation, self-explanatory. Ella es médico. Here I put it without an article. She is a doctor, right? She is a doctor. Ella es médico. Ella es médico. Nosotros somos estudiantes. We are students. Nosotros somos estudiantes. Students counts as an occupation, even though you're not technically like a worker. Okay, but you are working, at least if you're a good student. Okay, ownership or the relationships between people. And I put these together because basically we're saying they belong to us, even though relationships, like it would be weird to think of it in English as she belongs to me, like she's like, but we do say my girlfriend, right? She's my girlfriend, like it's possessive. It's possessive. Okay. This, and we'll see more of it later, and we'll do the explanation later. Es mi libro. Mi is the possessive adjective my. El libro is obviously book. Libro, libre, library, right? We get book from this. Okay. Spanish is liber, right? And okay, so anyway, este es mi libro. Here, este is is a pronoun because it's not modifying a noun, right? But so when it's modifying a noun, it's an adjective. And in Spanish, it's the same one. Right? It's the same spelling. So it can be a demonstrative pronoun. Demonstrative means you're pointing out, you're showing, you're singling out something, you're demonstrating it. Like, right. So here, like this is my cell phone. This here is a pronoun. This cell phone, here's an adjective. This cell phone, modifying cell phone. Okay, so pronoun, and it's demonstrative. We call them demonstrative pronouns. Okay, so ellas, they, are mis hermanas, my sisters. They are my sisters. They are my sisters. So ellas son mis hermanas. Okay, and then material. And this is the last one for said. It's a lot. I could add more, but this is the all you're gonna need for a long time, I think. What something is made out of. Esta mesa, this table, mesa is table, right? We also use this as like yeah, like I think it's I want to say it's part of English lexicon, but I think mesa is pretty common. A mesa is also like on a mountain is like the flat areas. It's the mesa, right? Esta mesa, this table is of, right? Here's the of, meaning made of, de madera. Madera is wood. Madera is wood. Okay. It's not part of our vocabulary, so don't worry, you not have to remember it, but I wanted to explain the sentence. Este vaso, this glass, drinking glass, is de plástico. Plástico is obviously plastic, right? Okay. So I don't expect you to memorize all the uses of said. The best thing I can tell you for a shortcut is when you use said, you're usually talking about something of permanence, not something that's fleeting, not something that changes from hour to hour or from even day to day, but something that's long lasting. So for example, yo soy abogado, you're not going to be a lawyer today and not a lawyer tomorrow and and then a lawyer again, right? So this is like identifying you, like it would be this is a long-term quality, right, that we can attribute to you. Él es violento. If he's a violent person, he's not violent one day and like not characteristics like, and then he stops being violent and then he's violent. No, yes, the violence happens like, but if you commit a violence one day and then not the next day and then the next day and then not you're still violent, right? Even you're violent during the days you're not doing any violence, right? This is a long-term quality we use to describe people. Origin. If I'm from Peru, I'm always from Peru, right? It's a permanent, long-lasting quality of mine. In this case, it's a permanent quality of mine. I cannot change that. It'll never change. Occupation. Again, you're not going to change jobs from day to day or from week to week. So these are typically long-lasting qualities of yours. Again, spittle. Ella es médico. Nosotros somos estudiantes. Yes, one day we will stop being estudiantes, but we're estudiantes for a long time, right? So permanent quality for ser. Ownership, right? Este es mi libro. You could sell the book, you could give away the book, but generally, if you own the book, if it's your book, it's yours for a while, right? It's not something like we don't buy things and then give them away next day and then acquire them again and then give them away and then like it doesn't work that way, right? So okay, like the world doesn't generally work that way. Okay, material, something is made of something, like it's permanent, right? It's if it's made of that, then like that's not you can't change that, right? Esta mesa es de. So when you think of ser, think of long-lasting or permanent qualities. Generally, that's going to help you figure out whether you need ser or whether you need the other verb, which we'll do next time, which is estar. Okay, let's go. Okay, demonstrative pronoun is easy to learn. We have just este for this, could be a pronoun, could be an adjective, and esta, the feminine for this, could be a pronoun, could be an adjective. Let's first give the pronoun. Este, if I point to something, this is a cell phone, but pretend it's a car. Este es mi carro. Este es mi carro. This is my car. This is my car. This, alone, pronoun. And then if I say something like, esta es mi casa. Let's pretend this picture here is my house. Esta es mi casa. I'm just pointing to my house and saying, esta es mi casa. Pronoun, esta es mi casa. Okay. And esta because pronoun casa is feminine, and este because carro is masculine. Okay. Now, again, pretending this is my car, este carro. Now, if I say este carro, este is an adjective because I have the noun carro and it's modifying carro. So now adjectives modify nouns. So este carro es nuevo. Nuevo. Nuevo is a new word. It's part of the vocabulary. It means new. We have many cognates in English to help us remember new, but it's not a big deal. We're going to see that later. So nuevo, it's masculine. Esta casa, yes, I'm learning Czech. Esta casa es grande. Esta casa es grande. Esta, because casa is feminine. Okay, and grande, because it ends in the E, I don't have to conjugate it for gender or even, yeah, I don't have to conjugate it for gender. Did I say I don't have to conjugate inteligente for number? You do. Sorry, I misspoke. I just realized it because when I was thinking of grande, I definitely have to conjugate that for number. So when I said here when I said intelligent, I don't have to worry about number. You do have to worry about number. You don't have to worry about gender, but you do have to worry about number. Okay, inteligente, inteligentes, plural. Okay, now back to, or we were sorry if that caused you a little bit of confusion. Okay, possessive adjectives we're going to do now. There's a lot of grammar, but I feel like it's kind of intuitive grammar. And again, all grammar has to be learned by repetition. Almost all grammar. There's always exceptions, but almost all grammar, the way to have it ingrained in you is repetition. You need to do a lot of repetition. It has to be a lot of repetition because it's hard to come up with cognates and mnemonic tools for pronouns and prepositions and articles because they're tiny words. And like the roots are not going to help you because the etymology of these words basically are those same words. And so like you might as well just remember the meaning because the etymology doesn't really it doesn't create a bridge to the meaning. It's the same as the meaning. So it doesn't help you, if you know what I mean. Okay, so here we go. Possessive adjectives, not pronouns. My is an adjective because it needs to modify the noun, whatever it is. Yo, corresponding to I is going to be, is mi, singular, mi hermano, my brother, mi hermano. Plural, mis hermanos, my brothers, mis hermanos, my brothers. Tu hermana. Notice the tu doesn't have an accent mark. The you, possessive, doesn't have an accent mark. Sorry, the your doesn't have an accent mark. But you, pronoun, does. Tu hermana, your sister. Tus hermanas, your sisters, plural. Okay, su, very important to remember su. Su is going to be very useful for us. It's very good because it's going to cover a lot of the other possessive adjectives. Ella, okay, so corresponding to él or ella, either one. Su hermana, his sister or her sister, depending on context. Su hermana, his or her sister. Sus hermanas, his or her sisters. And su can be hermano, su hermano. So the su, notice that there's no, I just put singular and plural, right? And then if you notice down here for the nosotros, I do put gender. But the mis only cares about number, singular or plural. It does not care about gender. It's like the adjectives like inteligente with an E, grande with an E. Those only care about number, singular or plural. They do not care about gender. They can be applied to both genders. So the singular possessive adjectives, mi, mis, tu, tus, su, sus, are just about number, singular, plural. They don't. The gender doesn't matter. Okay, so that's great. That's great for us. Okay, that's it. So now the one possessive adjective that does matter for gender is the nosotros, for the one that corresponds to us. It's not nosotros. It corresponds to us. Nuestro, masculine, singular. Nuestro hermano, singular. Hermano is masculine and mano is singular. So nuestro is the singular possessive adjective for our. Nuestros, plural. Hermanos, plural. And of course, both masculine. nuestros hermanos. Nuestra, feminine singular, hermana, feminine singular. Nuestra hermana, feminine singular. Nuestras, feminine plural, hermanas, feminine plural. Nuestras hermanas. Nuestro hermano, nuestros hermanos, nuestra hermana, nuestras hermanas. Right? It has to agree in gender and number with the noun that it's modifying. Okay. And now remember we said that su is going to be very useful for all the plurals after nosotros. Ustedes, you guys, ellos, they, ellas, they, and usted, polite you. Those possess the possessive adjectives corresponding to them. So your in the plural, their in the plural, and your polite is all su. Su, sus, su, 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 for all of them. For all of them. So context is usually very important when you're using possessive adjectives. But usually when you're using possessive adjectives, you've already mentioned the noun. It's already been mentioned, and or it's very clear from conversation. And if it's not, then you have to state, like you have to make it explicit. But we're just going into the grammar here. So okay, so sorry. So ustedes, su hermana, your, like you guys's, like if we're Italian, you guys's sister, right? Your sister, meaning several of you. Like if you're talking to people, I like your sister. Okay. Sus hermanas, and it could be masculine or feminine, doesn't matter. Su hermana, su hermano, sus hermanos, sus hermanas, for your plural. Their plural, su hermano, su hermana, sus hermanos, sus hermanas. Okay, their brother, their sister, their brothers, their sisters. Usted, su, and sus. That's it. Easy peasy. The plurals, possessive adjectives in Spanish after the nosotros are just su or sus. And even in the singular, third person singular, él, ella, which is he, she, is su and sus. So learning the possessive adjectives is, I think, nothing. Like it's almost nothing. Me is like mine, right? Me is like mine. No problem. And tu is the same as the pronoun. We just have a slightly different way of, like, tu is tu, right? Tu is the same, like just one has an accent mark. The pronoun has an accent mark. The personal subject pronoun has an accent mark. Tu, but the tu your doesn't have an accent mark. Okay, and then plural is just, we're just adding s to make them plural. Me, add s, mis. Tu, add s, mis. Sorry, tus. Su, add s, sus. Okay, and nosotros, add s, nosotros. Nosotra, sorry, I said nosotros. Nuestro, add s, nuestros. Nuestra, add s, nuestras. Those are the possessive adjectives. Now, pronouns, don't say it. Pronouns. Annoys me. Okay. Okay, so that's it. Okay, that's a lot of grammar, but it's kind of fairly easy grammar. Like esta, it's just two words, and it can be used as an adjective or a pronoun. And then the possessive adjectives, yes, it's a whole, we're doing all of them, but like again, you really just have to remember like these four, and then the su and sus applies to the other ones that are on the chart of like the you guys, right? So I feel like it's not a lot because it's a new language and we're accumulating grammar. In that sense, it's going to start to seem like a lot, but we're going to do a lot of repetition. Here we go. I quit yapping. The handy vocabulary, look, this is it. That's all we're doing, handy vocabulary today. We're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 words because again, I gave you a lot of grammar in this section or in this lesson, and we're not going to need so much vocabulary in the future, not for this series. De, we talked about de, means from, means of, means during, means about. For our purposes today, it's almost always going to mean from. I think maybe sometimes it'll mean of, but I can't remember. Guapo, guapa, we talked about guapo, guapa. I didn't give you any etymology just because the etymology doesn't help. When the etymology is basically the same word, it's not going to help, right? So guapo means good looking. We can use this to mean handsome. If you say guapo, you can mean handsome. And if you say guapa, you can mean beautiful to women. Okay, but general, so good looking is kind of neutral. You can say he's good looking, she's good looking, right? Guapo, guapo, guapa, guapa. Okay, Feo, opposite of good looking here. Fea, ugly for man, for males. Fea, ugly for women. Feos is plural. Feas is plural, right? We just add an S. And same thing with guapo. Guapos is plural. Guapas is plural. Easy to make plural in Spanish. The feo and fea. Feo comes from the Latin foedus. Foedus. Foedus means ugly, foul, or disgusting. And that's basically all the meanings in Spanish. I just gave you ugly, but in Spanish, feo could also be disgusting. You can say this food is disgusting. Esta comida, this food, is fea. You can say that. Okay. But okay, so foul, so ugly, foul. So and then cognates we have faux, you're faux, or something is foul, right? Faux is foul. Okay, so the cognates kind of help, but fail is ugly. Okay, there we go. Amable. This is not right. This is not amiable. Amiable. Amable. What am I saying? Amable, right? But it's the same spelling, right? Amable, but it's amable. The reading is amable, and it's from the same cognate as aimable. Aimable. Sorry, I don't know. I have spittle today. What the hell's wrong with me? Anyway, so friendly, kind comes from the Latin amare. Amare means to love. Amare. Amare means to love, right? And that's obvious, right? Because we get amicable, amiable, amorous, right? And there's many cognates in English that have the amare root. And so amable is friendly and kind. Not hard to remember, I think. Muy. Muy is the adverb meaning very. Like muy, like I think Americans know muy caliente, right? Very hot, very special. Just as we say it of women, and like she's very hot, like she's a hot girl. Oh, muy caliente, right? In a joking, kind of facetious way, but yeah. So muy again, the etymology is not going to help you. So just muy is very. But we have phrases like muy bonita, very pretty. She's muy bonita. Muy guapa, muy guapo, muy caliente, right? So muy is kind of common. Okay, and they both end with a Y. I don't know if that'll help you. And then finally, nuevo, nueva. We have a lot of cognates for nuevo, nueva. We have novice. If you're a novice, you're new at something. If something is novel, not the noun novel like book story novel, but novel is something is new. You have a novel idea. It's a new idea. And then we have this expression from French that we use in English. I don't know if you guys use it, but it's the nouveau riche. Nouveau riche means the newly rich, basically your new money, which is not a good term. It's a kind of derogatory term. Your new money, like you came from poor background, low education maybe, or you have like you don't have the aristocratic upbringing, and so the aristocrats would call people who like are wealthy but don't have any class in their opinion nouveau riche, right? Okay, your new money. I'll take new money all day. Okay, so nuevo, nuevos is the plural for masculine. Nueva is feminine singular. Nuevas is plural. Okay, that's it for the vocabulary. I really think like nuevo, nueva, because the cognates are going to be easy for you to remember. Muy, because it's so short and it just we. I think Americans, at least Americans, use it all the time, right? Like in a facetious kind of way. But yeah, amable, amable. Again, the root is the same as amicable, amiable, amorous, paramour. All a bunch of words with meaning the love or friendly. Fail, fair. There's not really. I think that the etymology is not going to help you too much, and the cognates maybe are not going to help you too much. You're going to hopefully have to remember fail, fair. Guapo, guapa. We've heard. Americans have heard guapo, guapa, and de just means from. De anima, right? If you read any Aristotle, is Aristotle de anima? I don't remember anymore. I'm losing. I'm forgetting stuff as I age here. Okay, that's it. You ready? Here we go. We're going to do the monster translation practice. Okay. I mostly use the said verb here, but I think once or twice I use other verbs. But okay, here we go. Tu hermana es muy guapa. Tu hermana es muy guapa. Tu hermana es muy guapa. So what is, I almost asked you in Spanish. Tu hermana. Tu hermana. Sorry, that should not have an accent. I think, I don't know why I keep doing this. This is possessive adjective. The possessive adjective does not have an adjective. It does not have an accent. Tu hermana es muy guapa. Tu. Tu, it matches with the tu pronoun, so here it means your, right? Your hermana. We've done hermana, hermano all day long today. Sister. Es. We know this is the be verb, so it has to be is. Muy is very. Guapa is good looking or beautiful. Your sister is very beautiful. Es muy guapa. Your sister is very beautiful. Hook me up, brother. Do me a solid. Do me a solid. Okay, number 2. Mis amigos son idiotas. Facts. Mis amigos son idiotas. I didn't define idiotas because it's obvious. Mis amigos, mis, the me looks like my, right? So mis amigos is my, and amigos, we all know amigos from just being American. We know amigos means friends, my guy friends, right? Mis amigos. You can also use it for male and females, but just what here it doesn't matter, right? So just like padres can be is father and mother, hijos is brother or sister, I mean son or daughter, and amigos can be male friends or female friends in the plural when we use it that way. But here, so you could treat it as either one, as just all males or just a group of males and females. As long as there's one male, it's a group of males and females. Mis amigos son idiotas. My friends are idiots. Idiotas is a common insult in Spanish, but it can also be used kind of like less abrasive, like kind of like the difference between you call somebody stupid and you call somebody a dummy, right? If you call somebody a dummy, it's less abrasive. You call somebody stupid or an imbecile, it's pretty harsh. Idiotas can be both, depending how you say it. Okay, like idiota, like it can be playful. Anyway, okay, so number 3. Esta mesa, mesa, we covered mesa in the example, but it's not a vocabulary word. It means table. Esta mesa no es nueva. No es. I put the no, I made the negative verb here. Esta mesa no es nueva. Esta mesa. The demonstrative pronoun esta, matching in gender with mesa. Esta mesa. This table. No es. Is not. Nueva. New. This table is not new. Tus hermanos son muy guapos, pero tu hermana, I have to move my space here, es fea. Oh, little harsh, brother. Tus hermanos son muy guapos. I can imagine a woman saying this because they're kind of petty and catty. Tus hermanos son, not all women, don't hate me, I'm not a misogynist. I'm just a stater of facts. Tus hermanos son muy guapos, pero tu hermana es fea. Tus hermanos. Tus hermanos. Tu is easy, right? It's just your. It matches the tu. Your. Your brothers son, are muy guapos, very good looking, very handsome. But, pero, did you remember pero? Did you remember pero? Did you remember but? Tu hermana, we know it's your sister. Es, we know it has to be is. Fea, which is the opposite of basically guapo, ugly. Your brothers are very handsome, but your sister is ugly. Nuestros padres son de los Estados Unidos. Nuestros padres son de los Estados Unidos. This does not mean fathers. Padres here does not mean fathers. It could mean fathers, but 99 times out of 100, it's gonna mean parents, right? But the plural of father, one father would be padre. So it can mean, if you have two fathers, then you would say padres. But if you're just saying parents, it's padres. Nuestros padres. Nuestros. It's masculine here. Well, it's masculine anyway. So our fathers. Our fathers. Look what I did. Our parents. Son, are. De, from. And then obviously Los Estados Unidos from the United States. Our parents are from the United States. Esta es mi number 6. I'll scroll up a little bit. Esta es mi nueva computadora. I didn't define computadora because it's almost like obvious. Well, it is obvious, I think. Esta es, this, feminine pronoun, demonstrative pronoun. This, esta is mi nueva computadora. You can't say mi computadora nueva, but you can say mi nueva computadora, right? Both are acceptable. I told you the adjectives in Spanish commonly follow the noun they modify, but also sometimes they go before. And sometimes they only go before, but those are like numbers and stuff like that. Okay. Esta es mi nueva computadora. This is my new computer. This is my new computer. Okay. 7. Yo no soy estudiante. Soy profesor. Yo no soy estudiante. Soy profesor. Yo no soy estudiante. I am not a student. Soy, I am a teacher or a professor. Profesor. Soy profesor. Yo no soy estudiante. Soy profesor. Yuki is just a girl's name. Es mi amiga de Japón. Yuki. Yuki es mi amiga de Japón. Yuki es mi amiga de Japón. Yuki is mi amiga, my friend, de Japón, from Japan. Yuki es mi amiga de Japón. Yuki is my friend from Japan. Gracias. Ustedes son muy amables. Gracias. Ustedes son muy amables. Thank you. Gracias, right? I don't have to explain gracias. Thank you. Ustedes son. Ustedes. You guys are. Ustedes son. You guys. Or you are muy amables. You are very kind. You are very kind. Muy amables. You are very kind. Thank you. You guys are very kind. Okay, 10. Ellas son de Bolivia, pero yo soy de Inglaterra. Ellas son de Bolivia, pero yo soy de Inglaterra. Okay, let me throw in a comma here. Ellas son de Bolivia, pero yo soy de Inglaterra. Ellas obviously means they. Son obviously means are. De Bolivia, from Bolivia. Pero, again, but, yo soy, I am, de Inglaterra, from England, right? England. Okay. 11. Tú eres muy guapo y muy inteligente, pero tu hermano es feo y un idiota. I'm throwing a comma here. Okay. Tú eres muy guapo y muy inteligente, pero tu hermano es feo y un idiota. Tú eres, you are, muy guapo, very handsome, very good looking, y muy inteligente, and very intelligent, very smart. Pero, but, tu hermano, your brother, is feo, is ugly, and, and, un idiota, and an idiot, right? Okay. Tú eres muy guapo y muy inteligente, pero tu hermano es feo y un idiota. 12. Mis amigas son de Panamá. Notice the stress on the last A. It has an accent mark. It's Panamá. Panamá. Mis amigas son de Panamá, pero viven aquí. I threw in viven from the last lesson, so hopefully it doesn't throw you off, but it refers to live. So if it's throwing you off, I'm giving it to you. It's about, the verb is live, the live verb. aquí en los Estados Unidos con su hermano. Ok. Mis amigas son de Panamá. Mis amigas son de Panamá. Mis amigas are my friends, my female friends. These son de Panamá. My friends are from Panama. My friends are from Panama. Pero viven, but they live. Viven is they live. And because we're talking about my friends still, and it's obvious. It's not ustedes viven, right? It's ellas viven. Pero viven, but they live aquí, aquí. Hic means here. Aquí means here, but they live here. Where's here? Hold on. I don't know if you guys can hear the garden. He's got a leaf blower going. I'm going to pause for a second. And I wanted to make a point about, I'm going to make a point about this. Okay. Okay. Why doesn't he keep going? Move on, buddy. Okay. One more minute. All right, I'll just talk louder. Mis amigas son de Panamá. My friends, female friends, are from Panama. Pero, but, viven, they live aquí, here. En los Estados Unidos, here in the United States, con, previous vocabulary, con, with, su hermano. Now, here's what I want to talk to you about. The su is singular and masculine because it's modifying hermano. It has to agree with the hermano. It has to agree with the gender of hermano, which is masculine. It has to agree with the number of hermano, which is singular. It has nothing to do with amigas. It has nothing to do with amigas. Yes, it's their brother, right? In English, we would say it's their brother. He is their brother. English, the their corresponds to the girls, right? That's why it's plural, right? There is plural because it corresponds to the girls, their brother. But in Spanish, the there doesn't correspond to the girls, it corresponds to the brother. So that's why it's su hermano, right? That's the difference. So you have to, that's an important difference because a lot of students get this wrong. And they'll say, like, yeah, they'll just put the wrong possessive adjective because they're doing English grammar. And they think, oh, the girls are from Panama. The girls are from Panama, but their brother, or but they live in the United States with their brother, and they'll use their as the possessive adjective, which is correct in English, because the there has to match with the girls, right? But in Spanish, the there doesn't agree with girls. It agrees with hermano. It agrees with the noun that it's modifying, which makes sense. It makes sense. Like they both make sense. It's just grammar, it's just English, it's just customs and traditions. But this is the grammar for Spanish. It corresponds to the noun it's modifying, which again to me it's just logical, right? Adjectives modify nouns, right? And possessive adjectives are adjectives. So why wouldn't they modify the noun that they're modifying? I mean, why would they agree with the noun they're modifying? Why would there in English agree with the antecedent, which is the girls, right? Okay, don't get me started. Okay, so that's it. So you know. 13. No soy inteligente, pero sí soy muy guapo. Facts. No soy inteligente. Oh, that's not a fact, actually. Let's pretend. No soy inteligente, pero sí soy muy guapo. I probably have them reversed. Either way, I'm flattering myself. No soy inteligente, pero sí soy guapo. No soy inteligente. Notice I took out the subject pronoun because I said although it's common to put it, it's often not, it can also not be there. No soy inteligente. I am not intelligent. Intelligence is overrated, by the way. It's almost fictional. It's almost like who knows what intelligence is. Is it even a thing? And it doesn't really matter. Like, you can learn whatever you need to learn. You can be an A student without having a drop of intelligence. No soy inteligente. And you can definitely learn a language without having any intelligence. Trust me, right? No, I don't know why you trust me, but anyway, no soy inteligente. I am not intelligent. Pero sí soy. Sí soy. Sí is yes, right? Sí is yes. See here, when I say sí soy, is like an intensifier, right? I want to be emphatic about it. I don't have to say sí. I can take sí out. I can say, pero soy muy guapo, but I am very handsome. I am very good looking. But it's like yeah. The sí is an intensifier, right? You want to be emphatic about it. It's like when you say, no, I don't have any money. Like, no, I don't have any money. Like you're being emphatic that you don't have money, right? Right. So the sí is just being emphatic, but you could take it out. Pero soy muy guapo. Pero sí soy muy guapo. But you bet your damn dollar. Bet you bet your you bet your last dollar. Last dollar? Oh, I'm forgetting English idioms. Anyway, that's it. So I'm not intelligent, but yes, I am very handsome. Okay, last one. Ella no habla español, pero habla inglés, japonés y coreano, y es muy amable. Ella no habla español, pero habla inglés, japonés y coreano, y es muy amable. Ella no habla español. She does not speak Spanish. But she speaks, she speaks English, japonés, Japanese, y coreano. I didn't give you the definition of coreano because I think it's obvious. Coreano is Korean. Coreano is Korean. And es muy amable. Notice there's no subject pronoun because we're still talking about ella. So it doesn't need to be stated. Ella es, she is muy amable, very friendly, very kind. Ella no habla español, pero habla inglés, japonés y coreano. Y es muy amable. That's it. That's all of the lesson for today. That's all the grammar. Lesson 5 will cover estar. Lesson 5 we'll do less. We'll introduce less grammar. Like I don't think I'm gonna do any like indirect object or direct object. I'm not gonna introduce them yet. The vocabulary will stay at a minimum. I'm thinking like 5 to 7 or 8 words maximum for the next lesson. And just conjugation of estar. But again, incorporating all the vocabulary we've learned up to this point. But for the translation, I try to just focus on estar. Even though I know we've covered hablar, we've covered comer, we've covered vivir, and now we've covered ser. Like, and I expect for you to know that. After we do estar, I'm going to do a review of lessons 1 through 5, which estar will be, where I incorporate all of the verbs into your translation practice. So lesson 6 will be a review of lessons 1 through 5 and see how well it'll give you a like a litmus test to gauge how much of it you have learned and are retaining and can employ. For the most part, it's not spoken Spanish, it's grammatical Spanish, which is easy. I mean, it's written Spanish here, so it's easier to just like see things and like figure things out. But okay, but this is grammar, so this is not conversational Spanish. That's it. Again, if I once in a while I will misspeak. I think in the previous video I kept mispronouncing ciudad. I kept saying like ciudad. I can't even do it now on purpose. But ciudad. Okay, and then I mean once in a while I will read ustedes as usted. I don't know why, but I've caught myself doing that. And yeah, that's about it. I think I've been pretty diligent in placing the accent marks where they belong. Sometimes I might miss it because sometimes like I just type it out in Spanish as I know, and generally I'm correct. But sometimes I will check with like Google Translate or ChatGPT to make sure I haven't made a mistake. If I'm in doubt, I tend to like run it through just to make sure I'm not giving you guys false information here. There's not like it's just bad when you're learning a language and you're getting typos and mistakes or bad pronunciations, and then you're learning them and you bother to like have them ingrained, and then like you got to unlearn it, which is a pain. Okay, so but again, I don't edit my videos, right? I'm giving you the full run through. I mean, other than plan the lesson plan, I'm not planning what I'm going to say, how I'm going to explain it for the most part. it's all extemporaneous, right? So you have to allow for some mistakes, and don't be too judgmental. If I mispronounce something, like this guy can't speak Spanish. If I say something wrong, like this guy doesn't know his grammar. Like, why would you like? I see this all the time, and not all the time, but I see this and like, you're ruining something good that you have available to you. I have a lot to offer you guys. I have there's a lot to learn here. Don't be so dismissive on such like for minor infractions, right? Allow people to make mistakes, to misspeak, to make errors, to forget, to get confused, and then if you can figure it out, move along. Or sometimes, and most of the time, I put my errors in the description box. Like if I remember, I will say, "Hey, I made this mistake. I made that mistake." So then hopefully it doesn't like check the description box. Check the description box because sometimes I will tell you which errors I've made or that I'm making so that you don't like learn something that's you shouldn't be learning. But it doesn't happen a lot. Okay, that's it. All right, so I have to stop sharing and then I'm gonna click end lesson. So see you guys in lesson 6. Bye. Bye. Bye bye.